Okay, this is my persuasive speech for nutrition at TCC. One thing to mention is I have worked at a grocery store for public supermarkets since 1999. It does make me a health professional, but it does make me familiar with the products and potentially what's in them. So I'm going to read what I've written down, but I'm going to try not to just stare at the computer the whole time. I'll send this along. It seems as if life is moving at a faster pace than it used to, and you could say that technology is made of that way. We get everything at the snap of a finger now. Our news is on our phones, a new song can be downloaded instantly, and our food is ready to go and ready to eat if we want it right then and there. So speaking of food, if you're overweight or have a health issue of some kind, those foods could be a culprit even more than they are a convenience. Today I want to attempt to persuade you to change your eating habits, and also it changes your shopping habits. So when you go to the grocery store, you got to ask yourself, how often are you on the aisles? Now think about how often you're in the produce department or the meat department. If you spend more time in the grocery aisles, more likely than not, then your eating habits are out of whack. Processed foods. These are foods that are high in sugar and high fructose corn syrup, contain artificial ingredients, low nutrients, and are fast digesting, which doesn't allow your body to fully absorb the little bit of nutrients that are still there. When a population adopts a Western diet, which is high in processed foods, they tend to get sick. And it's not that their genes have changed over the years, it's that their food has. What is the benefit of replacing organic, nutrient-rich foods with modified, chemically enhanced foods? What is the body trying to tell you when you eat it? Let's look at something most of us ate as a kid or even still do. Macaroni and cheese. I should mention just about all the items in the frozen section are going to have added sodium, so this is for comparison purposes. So the ingredient label for Amy's organic macaroni and cheese lists organic macaroni, which is made of whole durum flour and water, organic low-fat milk, cheddar cheese, which is made of pasteurized milk, culture, salt, and enzymes without animal enzymes or rennet, butter, which is cream and salt, organic sweet rice flour, sea salt, organic annatto. Those are the ingredients for Amy's organic macaroni and cheese. Then it'll tell you it contains wheat and milk. So this is for the organic junkie in your household. So that label is not too bad. All right. Now, as I mentioned, you're going to have added salt for preservation. But overall, this is a much better ingredient list than what follows. Kraft Macaroni and Cheese has listed enriched macaroni product. Enriched macaroni product. Okay, I thought macaroni was just the pasta in the bag. Alright, no, this is macaroni product, so it's not even real pasta. And that is made of wheat flour, niacin, ferrous sulfate. And in parentheses it says iron. Now, why don't they just say iron if it was that good for you? Thiamine mononitrate, riboflavin, folic acid, cheese sauce mix, which is made of whey, milk fat, milk protein concentrate. Alright, salt, sodium tripolyphosphate, lactic acid, sodium phosphate, calcium phosphate, enzymes, cheese culture, yellow 5, and yellow 6. Now, I've never bought yellow 5 or yellow 6 at a store. So while some items have additional ingredients for preserving, such as added sodium, others have ingredients we can barely pronounce. If you're having to sound out the ingredients list, don't buy it. Another way to determine if you should buy it is to ask yourself, would you be able to buy these ingredients in the store to make it from scratch? If the answer is no, it doesn't belong in your cabinet, and it certainly doesn't belong in your body. Now let's look at oatmeal. Now this I actually have on hand. I have two kinds of oatmeal. First is just Quaker Original. In the ingredients list, whole grain rolled oats, okay, calcium carbonate, salt, guar gum, I don't even know what that is, caramel color, reduced iron, and vitamin A palmitate, okay? So, reduced iron and caramel color, calcium carbonate. I don't know that I want any of that. That was Quaker's Original. Let's look at Quaker gluten-free. Ingredients list. One ingredient, whole grain rolled oats. That's the only thing that's in there. Which one would you want to put in your body? I think I'm going with the whole grain rolled oats. So that was just oatmeal. We looked at macaroni and cheese, we looked at oatmeal. Okay, that you got kind of a breakfast and dinner thing going on there. Another thing to consider is the meat you buy. You got to ask, what animal does the meat come from? Beef comes from cows and chicken from fowl. But processed meat is completely different from fresh meat. Processed meat such as ham and sausages have had their biological makeup completely overhauled because of the chemical in them. We know sodium helps to preserve so many packaged items. This also applies to lunch meat especially. According to eatthis.com, 2 thinly slices of meat have more sodium than a bag of pretzels. That's 450 milligrams of sodium. Now, sodium isn't bad for you, but it is a risk factor in the development of heart disease when eaten in excess. If meat has been smoked, salted, cured, dried, or canned, it is considered processed. However, meat that has merely been frozen or undergone mechanical processing, such as cutting or slicing, it's still considered unprocessed. Okay, and that was from an article by Healthline, or published on Healthline.com on June 4th, 2017 by Atli Arnarsson, who's a PhD in the health field. In numerous studies conducted by Harvard and other health professionals around the world, processed meat is a huge risk in the development of bowel cancer. Instead of lunch slices or frozen burger patties, consider the alternative. Buy grass-fed beef. Now, the cow's had the freedom to roam free of any added chemicals to their diet and eats only the grass that's on the open terrain. Now, many farms, as we know, just feed their cows corn in order to fatten them up and get more meat out of them. It's a classic case of quality over quantity. Go for grass-fed beef instead. Now, sure, once the animal is butchered, the meat is frozen and shipped, but it's important to remember that it is frozen, so the method is not considered processed. These are just a few examples of why you should buy whole foods instead of the processed foods. So even this oatmeal comes in very similar packages. It's made by the same company. This one has not been processed. It is whole grain rolled oats. This one has been processed. I don't know that I want to eat caramel color. It's right here. So you got to ask yourself, is eating more expensive? And well, that depends on your definition of expensive. Does it cost less at the grocery store? Yes. But if health issues arise because of your food, the cost is much greater. So these are just a few examples of ways to eat healthier. As we learned in class, all you got to do is read the ingredients label and ask yourself one simple question. Is this food?